Well, I was actually back at Gulf Coast Junior College in Panama City, Florida. And I was back there as an assistant baseball coach, making $100 a month, but I had my housing paid for, I had food paid for. So the head coach was a guy named Bill Frazier, and he was refereeing the SEC at the time and the Sun Belt. So I used to drive him to some of the games around town. He was also in the local high school association. So after our fall basketball picked up, and he said, you know what, you need to referee some basketball to make a little bit of money. I said, you know what, you're right. So I just started. He gave me a shirt, gave me a whistle, threw me out there to the junior high girls game, and that's where I started. Probably at each level there have been memorable moments. I can remember getting my first high school varsity game, because that was my first goal once I got into it. I can remember working the high school state tournament here in the state of Alabama, getting to work some junior college games, getting a letter from the SEC, John Guthrie, and saying, hey, you're part of the SEC basketball officiating crew. Getting a phone call from Daryl Garrettson and saying, you're part of the NBA. I worked the Kentucky-Syracuse game up in the Carrier Dome my first 3 or 4 years. Then, of course, the first game in the NBA, working all-star games, I was fortunate enough to do. Just got assigned Kobe's game where he scored 81. So there's been a lot of them at each level. Yeah, going into the locker room after a game with either your one partner or your two partners and sitting down and finally relaxing and taking a deep breath and know that, hey, we did a good job tonight. We got plays right, we handled situations, we communicated, we were a team, we worked together, there weren't any agendas out there. Everybody was trying to do their best within that team and within that framework, and knowing that we did it, and we did a good job. These were the most gratifying moments. The people who had the biggest influence on me, I think, again, there were people at each level. Whether it started with Bill Frazier down in my first year in Panama City, he had a big influence because he really laid a good foundation for me. Coming up to Birmingham, getting started in the local association, guys like Rusty Riley and Greg England, and even Bo Matthews, who is a big part of it now. They were a big influence. Getting into college, I was fortunate enough to be in the Southeastern Conference with Don Rutledge and Andre Patillo and David Day, John Clougherty. So, and then in the NBA, I mean, man, Daryl Garrettson, Ronnie Garrettson, Bob Delaney, Steve Javie, Dan Crawford. I mean, just the best officials around. My family was so important because really with especially my wife, without her, I couldn't have done anything. I mean, if she didn't say yes, then I wouldn't be sitting here. When I first got started, I was teaching and coaching and refereeing. She was a nurse working night shift. And, so I'd get done the high school game on Friday night and hop in the car Saturday morning and go work a scrimmage or work a game somewhere, a college game. So we had 4 daughters, so she was taking care of the home situation. Even in college, get out of school, hop on a plane or car and go somewhere and come back. And as my career progressed, I was able to kind of give back some things. I tried to always include them in as many trips as I could. I got to take daughters they were actually in LA when Kobe scored 81, so yeah, so it worked out great. But, being able to take them all over the United States with me and kind of be a part of it. I would tell a first-year official that, kind of like a lot of professions, find out your why. Why am I doing this? If you're just doing it to make some money, yeah, you can make some money, but as you get involved in it, if you really develop a passion for it, then follow that passion. Set goals and talk to successful officials and see what they did to get where they got. Being selected by my peers, it means that they appreciate the work and the effort and all the sacrifices that went into it, because a lot of fans, they just see you out there for 2 hours a night, and you know, we make it look easy. So they think anybody can do it. So they, you know, they think they can go buy a shirt and a whistle and referee. But to be selected by your peers, you know, that they recognize your accomplishments, and they also recognize the work and the effort and the sacrifice that went into it. You know, that means a lot, because they're a part of that. They know what the process is. So that means a lot to me.